What is the SBA 7A loan and how does it work for franchises?
So the 7A loan is a loan that is very versatile. It can do real estate deals. It can fund business acquisitions. It also funds a lot of franchises, franchise startups and franchise resale. But basically, it's a loan that you can prepare projections, and it's funding based on projections and not actual earnings. So it's a pretty good product because that's how most of these franchises get funded. If not with personal cash, an equity line, or a retirement account, SBA is the main source to fund these startup franchise loans. It's easier to fund a franchise because it's a proven business model versus a non-franchise startup. And banks primarily will lend anywhere from 70 to 90% of the total cost. Usually 90% deals are on the smaller deals, like sub 300,000. 80% is more of what I see with the biggest national franchise lenders. And so we have to put together a full financial package on you, 3 years of tax returns, a resume, business plan, projections, franchise agreement, and that's about all you really need. If you're leasing trucks and things, you need to get invoices for final approval, general liability insurance, things like that. But generally, it's a pretty simple process, and it's going to be based on your credit. I would say that most deals I see, if you fit these benchmarks, it really is not going to be that. It's almost like you have good income from a job, you have good credit, you pay your bills on time, you have, after you put down your down payment, you have a little bit of reserves. You're probably going to be qualified. The big component that comes into play from there is the franchise itself. Some of them are not established and aren't on the SBA directory. So when we have our initial conversation, what franchise is it? If I don't know it, I know a lot of them, but there's thousands of them, so I don't know all of them. Send me the FDD I ask for. I'll check out how many units they have. I'll have conversations with certain banks to see if it's on their approved list, because some of them don't need to look at the directory. They have their own internal list. So I know how to give you feedback on the franchise itself. And that would be the only variable if we check the check marks on you personally, which is pretty simple on a franchise startup. Then it's really the franchise, and then everything else would fall in place. So I would say that's the biggest component.
And a follow-up question, what are the eligibility requirements for an SBA 7A loan?
Eligibility requirements for an SBA 7A loan, generally a 680 credit score or better. Generally that you have outside income that supports any of your outside debts, and you have cash flow coming from a job or from another business. In the olden days, if you had felonies, it was a complete no-no. Now they've approved it that you can have prior felonies, but most of them still will not do deals for anybody that's committed any kind of bank fraud or something like with money laundering, those kind of crimes. But no BKs, no past defaults on any government funding. So once in a while, you'll hear somebody that in 2007 or 8 BK'd some SBA financing. You're not going to get an SBA financing again until they change policy, but you're not going to see it again, unfortunately. But those are the requirements. Then there'd be different requirements if you're doing a construction project, the type of business, if it's more a high-risk business. Some of those banks want to see experience in those type of higher default industries like restaurants and things like that. But other than that, it's pretty simple process. You can get a pretty good feel. Like I have a 10 or 15 minute conversation, ask you a few questions. I generally understand the deal. And then, if you're doing a business acquisition, a lot of the weight is on the business's cash flow. So we always need the tax returns. So all in all, people make SBA financing out to be like this big problem child, and it really isn't. It's just once in a while there's deals with a lot of hair on it because they don't cash flow. We have to add back in. We have to research a lot of information. Or if you're doing a business with real estate, there could be environmental issues with the property or it doesn't appraise. A lot of business acquisitions right now, if the deal's over 250, they have to do a third-party business valuation. A lot of times you might not, the appraisal or the valuation comes in short. So then you have to take the lesser of, the purchase price. Like, oh, the seller wanted 800 grand, but the business valuator raised it at 600,000. So then you have to use 600,000, and the seller gets pissed off, and the deals, they're not willing to lower the price. So other than that, it's pretty straightforward. It's overwhelming probably for the first conversation, but I think I could break it down to you if we met, to give you the insight and give you a little bit of comfort that look, there's thousands of these loans happening every day, or not every day, every year, and it's the best financing product out there for aspiring business owners and small business owners. It's really, I just had this conversation earlier today, and we're talking about sometimes I'll talk to somebody from Canada or another country, and they're like, man, can I qualify for SBA? Well, you got to either be a permanent resident or a U.S. citizen. And listen, when people immigrate to the States and they see what we have and this product, it's a really good product. So that was our conversation earlier with a couple talking about SBA, and I thought it was interesting that we're quick to bash on everything about what's going on with the economy and all that stuff, the government, but look at all the great things we have that you can have very little money and you can get 90% financing. You can sometimes get the seller to cover some of your equity injection on seller on full standby, which is another topic. So if you are an aspiring business owner or existing business owner and you want to expand or start, go to bookwithbo.com.
If you're looking to acquire a business, stop scrolling on Biz Buy Sell and visit franchiseresellelistings.com. We'll do a customized search. You can get on our weekly distribution where we're sending new inventory weekly to your inbox. So visit franchiseresellelistings.com and opt in today. See you there.
Hey guys, Bo Eckstein here. If you enjoyed what you saw, please subscribe to this channel. We talk all things financing. I've been in the lending industry for over 20 years, and I'm happy to answer your questions and provide great content.